Negativity. This is from Jimmy Song, December 20th. Bitcoin territory, 61 comments, 6,803 sats. Keyan, what is Jimmy talking about now?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jimmy is just, I think, further owning the term Bitcoin maximalism, and it says opens with the Bitcoin maximalists were right about pretty much everything, and it kind of saying that Bitcoiners continue to be right, and specifically Bitcoin maximalists, and they should continue to own this term because it's like really who they are. And then he talks about people who are trying to kind of rebrand Bitcoin maximalists.
Really?
Or there was like an attempt at one point to sort of segment Bitcoin maximalists into, like, splinter them into further factions, where there were people who wanted to keep the Bitcoin maximalism term and then brand, I think, people like Jimmy, more like Jimmy and John Carvalho as Bitcoin Puritans.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so he's saying no, you don't get to tell me what name I'm going to take. I'm going to keep taking the same name. It's for people who need to run away from something.
Does Jimmy say he's a Bitcoin maximalist? Does he say that? I've never heard him actually say that.
I think he considers himself a bit.
Oh,
I think he would brand himself one.
I always thought he considered himself like a Bitcoiner. But I guess a Bitcoin maximalist is a term, right?
I've heard him. In a lot of his writing, I've heard him discuss the term Bitcoin maximalism because he's very familiar with the origin, which is Vitalik.
Yeah.
Insulting Bitcoiners who were not into Ethereum.
Yeah.
Or calling Ethereum a shitcoin.
Yeah.
Anyway, he talks about around the ecosystem how things rebrand constantly because they have a bad reputation, because they've lost their reputation. That name has become tainted, associated with mistakes, and so they move away from the name. And Bitcoin maximalist is basically saying Bitcoin maximalists don't need to do this. And then he's saying that Bitcoin is doing really good, and people are being super negative in the context of Bitcoin doing really good, and it's kind of weird to see. And so,
yeah, that's how I feel about it. I think he hits this last point on the head. He goes, yet the doomers complain that Lightning sucks, or that the fees suck, or that exchanges suck, or that organizations buying Bitcoin suck, or that consensus process sucks, or that mining pools suck. Some of these complaints have some merit, but the vehemence of the complaints are way overblown for the actual issue. These are not life and death issues for Bitcoin. At best, they're nice to haves 20 years from now. Like, I totally agree with that long 2 sentences. Yeah, Lightning's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it'll keep getting better. I actually think I think most people are upset. I think it kind of plateaued. I don't think there was much development in Lightning, although there was a lot of development happening behind the scenes, but it wasn't really reaching users. I think over the next few years, we'll see a lot of these things reach users, and we'll be pretty happy with Lightning.
You see what, like, I don't know, we didn't talk about it, but like Yopaki integrating Greenlight.
Yeah.
That's technically Breeze technology behind the scenes that's being used to, potentially Latin American exchange at some point. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's things already happening behind the scenes if you're paying attention that Lightning is bringing to the world.
Yeah, Phoenix D is another huge. I mean, we had with Dusty working on splicing, contributed a lot there, and we have this package relay stuff, which is going to make forced closures a lot less common. Bolt 12 is rolling out. It's going to be a pretty big deal.
It's a great time. It's a great time to have Lightning in your pocket.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll see people come back to it. I know, it feels somewhat like at least the app developer ecosystem sort of walked away from Lightning about a year ago.
I mean, if people are giving you free money to go build on these other things, I don't call it free money, but if they're giving you better money, then you're going to go take the money. You can't blame them for that. They're starving out there. I mean, they're not paying Lightning developers a lot of money. They're not paying Bitcoin developers a lot of money. But if you're building on some of these other adjacent things, you might get paid a little better.
I wonder if that's just a coincidence of those are what proposals that people had because they were exciting, or if there is some conclusion and people making the people making those decisions at some point concluded that those technologies are a dead end, and so we need to fund these other. I'm
I
curious
think it's
about
kind of what he says here at the beginning. He says ICOs didn't add any value in where vehicles to sucker new people into, giving VCs and token founders money. Blockchains didn't revolutionize industry and were vehicles to sucker new people into giving VCs and token founders money. DeFi didn't revolutionize finance and were vehicles to sucker new people into giving VCs money. NFTs didn't become for artists. And he's saying that, and I think, I don't know, he doesn't say it in here, but I think that's the whole, what are they calling them? Layer 3s, layer 2s? The stuff that's not Lightning. I think we're seeing that similar thing. He didn't put it in here, but I would say that's happening.
Shitcoins on Bitcoin type of thing.
I would say that's the new thing happening this cycle that a lot of people are getting. I don't know if they're getting money for it directly, but they're incentivized to move in that direction to allow these new, I don't know, are they technology? These new.
Well, it's pump and dump machinery. I mean, I'm not, in some of the cases, these L2s, I think they are well intended, but I hear what you're saying. Is like they're potentially a new VC funded.
It kind of reminds me of like, hey, we're gonna build out, this plot of land in this city, and it's gonna be a new giant mall, and we'll build neighborhoods around it and stuff like that. And then there's other people like, oh, we're gonna build out this new plot of land, and it's just gonna be a shitcoin casino.
Yeah, I think we do have L2s. We do have
it's still the same
scalable
contract.
L2s.
It's probably like it's kind of like that. It's kind of like the same people that are still building out the land, the infrastructure, all that stuff. So you can't blame the people that are like shoveling in the coal or the concrete or whatever the concrete and moving the what I'm saying, the architect, the construction workers. You can't blame them. They're just building out what these
they're paid to build out.
They're paid to build out. So I kind of see it the same way now. And you had asked me a year ago, I didn't see it that way.
I don't know. I don't view it that way, but I haven't been thinking about it too much. I know a lot of other people have thought a lot more about what these opcodes bring to Bitcoin.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about that. I was just talking about like the stuff they're already building on top of the current.
Oh, yeah. There's that. There's a similar vibe there, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother. See that, and then that goes into like, okay, so let's say if they do get these opcodes in and some of this other stuff that they want, does that mean there's going to be further? I mean, as a pleb, I'm asking that. Like, is there going to be further stuff that then comes? I don't know, but I would imagine so. But I'm staying in my lane.
Yeah.
Undisciplined had the top comment. He said, we're winning and we need to learn how to win, and to keep winning, we need to remember how we won. Wise words. I think a lot of us develop doomery attitudes out in fiat world, and many have a hard time letting them go. The bell curve says Doomerism can be an addiction. He said, I think that's true. Confirmation bias is easy to fall into. Yeah, that's a tough one, especially when you're trying to find bad, scary shit to convince yourself. That's my biggest problem is confirmation bias.
It's a problem everyone has. It helps
Me
to be aware of
especially,
it.
though. That one's...
Okay.
It's a tough one.
We all have biases that we're a little more vulnerable to.
Even like reasoning too. Like you're really selective about what you reason for and why those things are, and then you justify those things. And
that's why my position is usually I don't know. Like my default position and everything is I'm undecided. I have no idea. So I'd never. It makes it harder to fall. It makes it harder to ignore certain kinds of evidence when you don't have much of an opinion yet. And I just like the intake of evidence regardless of what it is. So that's why I generally try to avoid having an opinion.
So I think it's better just to pontificate upon things, like fuck having answers to a lot of the stuff or even having opinions. It's just like, let's just talk about it.
Yeah, but I mean, you can score points, as we've talked about. You can make a bunch of predictions. This next cycle comes, you're the man because you made all the right predictions.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm not sure what all this is, but I don't know what this is. It's Darth doing some stuff. I don't know. Cool. All right, that was good. So far, 2 good stories. See, Coop, we're doing it.
Yeah, we are doing it.